All right, guys, what's going on? This is Carlos, CEO of GAR Capital. Thanks for taking the time to watch this recap video. Mostly this is for our Discord members in our server, talking about the positions we working on, what we have open, and so on and so forth. But I put this on YouTube so everyone can have at least a little glimpse of what we do pretty much on a daily basis. So here's the week, and let's get to it. Heck of a short squeeze today. Dow up 701 points, Nasdaq up 1%, S&P up 1.45%. Volatility index, the VIX, below 15. How about that? So let's start first by taking a look at everything. We're going to make this into a big screen so everyone can see it. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 futures. Did some tweets on this today too. 4309, that's pretty much your target there. That's your 38.2 fib based on the daily chart from the October lows of 3502 to the highs back in December of 2021 or January of 2022. So again, you can flip it however you want, but it's still the same Fibonacci extension, whether it's the 38.2 or the 61.8. That's pretty much your target. Now, the reason they say that's our target is because that is the August highs. And if you remember, we did also tag or break above the 200-day moving average. As you can see, we're way above that now. So momentum is obviously on the side of the bulls, 4309 being the target. If we go ahead and just go to SPX, and again, I tweeted about this too. This is the cash S&P 500. Now you have a gap here right around 42.32. So again, I expect that to be filled. But again, 43.20, that's your mark. That's what you're looking for. So you got some room to play with here. SPX spot right around 50 points. That should elevate the major tech companies. Nasdaq will probably be included in that. If the S&P is higher, more than likely Nasdaq will be too in these tech companies. So a little bit of an air pocket up into that that August high. If we break above it, then we're going to start taking a look at some targets or some technical levels that we're going to look at here. You can see here the November peak back in 2022, and then we retested that trend line as well and rejected it back in February. Got back down. We held that 3,800 support, the same support that we had in December. So again, very structured movement, which is a really good sign, again, if you're looking as a long-term investor. Again, you don't want just manias. And again, I know we have AI mania and everyone buying AI companies, chip companies, and so on and so forth. But again, pretty structured, basically on a daily basis. The S&P, again, not a lot of fear out there. So that's a good sign, obviously. But really the key here is, do we break 43.20? And if we do, 4,400 is our target. And then once we get there, and if we start breaking above, then you really have that conversation about all-time highs. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, is all-time highs possible for this year? I would have said maybe less than a 1% chance. Like, no doubt, no way. I would say raise it now to 20-25%. There's obviously headwinds in regards to the consumer maybe slowing down. We had the jobs number come out. We talked about it this morning on the note. And with that jobs number being beat, unemployment is down. It ticked up a bit. But again, guys, if people are working, they're going to spend. And that's really what it's all about, is the consumer. So as long as the consumer has a job, labor market is still relatively strong. That's not the best for inflation, but we're not hearing a lot of conversation with that now. That narrative has kind of changed. We know that inflation has already peaked back in July with oil prices. So right now we're looking at 4,400. That was actually my end of year target, and we're only in June. So we may have a little more juice here to go, but 43.20 is the level you're looking for. Let's go to the volatility index, 1410. That's the level you're looking at as the low from 2021, mind you. Actually, is that, yeah, so 2021 lows. Wow, that was July 2021 lows at 1410. We're about 50 cents away from that if you price into this into dollars. So we're due for some kind of, reactionary snapback fall, or at least some fear out there, but not a whole lot. Everyone seems to be doing, I guess, pretty well. Everyone's buying calls. Let's go and take a look here at the put call ratios. And you can see here, if we go to the daily, No, you know what? Hourly probably gives us a little more clearance. Here you go. More to the lower end side. And again, it's not pure euphoria either. We're not there either. We were at pure euphoria probably this morning when we had that move. But in terms of where the market is, in terms of put call ratios, look at these spikes. November of 2021, we got a big time melt up. December of 2020, another melt up, not getting out of COVID, but still under lockdown. And then November, right after the October lows, when the 200 weekly MA hit. So again, those are kind of the buy areas, kind of markers where everyone has been buying into, whether it's buying the dip or continuance to the upside. And again, there really isn't any simple way to explain that, oh, are we going to crash or anything? It just shows that right now what's in demand is calls. And for the time being, you kind of have to just ride that momentum. And that's totally fine. I have no problem doing so. Let's go ahead and go over the actual week itself, and relatively quiet one. If you guys remember, this week, we did have Memorial Day on Monday. So here's our recap. We got Tesla. We closed it yesterday for 20%. The signal really to help everybody. Not everyone has the same risk tolerance. I really wanted everyone to get a win on the board. It got as high as 115%. I held on. You could see it here, 100%. The 220 calls, $2.41. Current price $4.83. I checked the price at the close. It was at 40%. But again, I'm still holding that. Palantir, we're going to go over all these trades here. Palantir, Disney, Meta, and Boeing. But Tesla basically is done, even though I think we have more room to the upside. So let's go ahead and chart these bad boys. Let's go ahead and start with Tesla and what we did and what we didn't do, or what have you. What are we expecting? We were right here when we opened the trade. We were right above the 200 moving average. Again, you have a nice clean pattern, breakout, wedge breakout, using the 200-day as your support, really your jump off point. No gaps, fortunately. Got as high as 110, but really the target here is around 218.93. If I may be a little more frank, I think we're going to get as high as probably 240. This name is shorted big time. So again, a lot of this is high beta short squeezes where everyone was short. And I think 240 is definitely in the cards for Tesla. I think we have a path, if we get above 220, where we can get to 240 and maybe even fill this gap here at 261.88. So Tesla is going to be on the watch list moving forward as long as we hold above the 200-day moving average at 198 to around 200. So Tesla is great. I am still holding personally. I think we get to 220 next week anyways, but I assume everyone else got either 20%, they either got 40% when they got it today, or anywhere in between to 115%. Everyone is different. Well done to everybody. And there's no way I can track that other than us sending it. All right, let's go to, not Disney because that's a longer expiry. Let's go to Palantir. This one I've had a lot of questions about. So this week's, it's probably the most I've been hearing about, or in the chat rooms with us. Let's go to the hourly chart. We opened this on Tuesday, and you could see we broke above, and we were playing this yellow line, which was 1460. That was the break level that we were looking for. So let's go ahead and revise the actual contract that we sent. We sent out the Palantir, 15 calls, 93 cents for the 9th. Mine today's the 2nd, so we still have time. And we bought those literally on Tuesday. That was the 30th. So we got to 10. We got to in the money on the 30th, right around noon. So here is the buy date, which is Tuesday. We were in the money right around that time. Chopped around, chopped around, chopped around, fell pre-market, bounced again, chopped around, chopped around, chopped around, spiked on Thursday. We got to 15.22, in the money again. Let's go ahead and see. In the money again yesterday, 11.41. But that time the premiums were not getting as much juice. Kind of been sideways. I think as of right now, we're basically near the place that we got in. I think we're down about, I think I have the recap on exactly how much we're down. I think we're down like about, on this one, I think about 50 on it, 50% on Palantir. The good news is that we bought time. If you would have paid it for this week, you would have lost your premium. So again, good idea to play this consolidation. You know, we let this play out. we know our targets. 15, we got there already. So really the next level is really about 15 to 16. And you got a gap to fill up to here at 23.93. So if we got all of this juice here for that momentum push, the 15s for next week, we got to break it again. We hit it. We got in the money twice. So we know that level is a magnet. The question is, when does it hit? When does it hit? Will it hit next week? Will it hit the week after? Will it hit Monday? That's why we bought time. Let's go and take a look at Meta. Meta, we hit as high as 35% today. Pretty similar to what happened with Palantir in a sense, just kind of chopping around. We got in on this one. Let's see if I can get this going here. When did we get into Meta? We got into Meta yesterday at 9:41 a.m. We got the 280 calls for this week, for next week, excuse me. So we got in yesterday at 9:30, got that boost above 271.17. Got up there. When we got here at 9:30, 9:35 at 275.35, we got to 35%. We did not close. It was just too quick. The good news is that we're going to go higher on Meta. So really the target is 288.95. That's your gap fill. This is a level we've been talking about since 240. So none of this is really news to us. We'll get to 280 next week. I have no doubt about it. So we missed that 35%. We still got a leg up. You can see the 1 hour complete straight shot higher. And we have our roadmap, exactly where we're going to go, just to that gap fill. And really that's it. You just have to look at it that way, as that we know where we're going. Next one is Disney. And Disney has been a tough one. I have puts for about 2 weeks away. I believe we filled this on Tuesday. I may be wrong. Disney, here we go. I did on the 30th, Tuesday. So 85 puts for the 16th. Let's check those. Let's check those contracts rather quickly. 90 puts. What do we have? 85 puts, 2,000 in vol. Not terrible. You could see some put volume here. We got some call volume too. So we got some battling between the bears and the bulls. You can see the chart is not pretty either. We do not have the Fed next week, mind you. That'll be 2 weeks from now. So that will be the same week as this expiry. So maybe if the VIX gets too compressed, maybe we get a little bit of a pullback. Disney will come back down. And again, really all we're looking for here, guys, is that 84.07 level. We do have another gap to fill right around 89.29. You could see the support here right around 91.92. Still below the 20-day moving average. That's our momentum indicator. We'll zoom into the 1 hour to confirm, and you can still see a downturn. You still haven't even broken above this yellow line. So really more of a momentum of the stock market itself and the totality of it, rather than Disney having some relative strength. Yes, it was up 2.46% today, but nothing meaningful has changed within the technicals to warrant either going long or closing this position in total. Let's go to Boeing. Boeing here. We have, let's take a look at this. This is the 2-year chart on Boeing. You can see a kind of, well, it is an inverse head and shoulders, right? And we're looking pretty solid here. I thought we were going to fill this gap here right around 190.57. Didn't happen. Really got a little air pocket until 220. Here's the good news. You're above major moving averages on the daily. So we have some momentum, obviously. The thing is that we did break that 200 weekly moving average. Now that's a very, very big level. We broke above it. That was my alert, but we settled below it, which is fine. I can live with that for now. And we have not been above the 200 weekly moving average really since, well, when was the last time we were above a 200 weekly moving average on Boeing? What? February 2nd of 2020. It's a long time. But we got a lot of room on Boeing. So I'm happy to see this price action as a shareholder. But looking at it here, I think there's definitely some ROI going for some calls. Again, at least 220. If this breaks 220, 230, 240, now we're talking about going into the next level of the building, let's just say, if you're going brick by brick. Again, we know that previous resistance becomes new support. And we haven't really broken that resistance yet at 220. We're targeting it for next week. So I like where we're positioned, guys, in terms of options. Even though it was a short week, I mean, if you really break down the S&P, really for the week, and let's go and do that. Let me see if I can bring this up in a 5-day chart. really since Tuesday, you've been kind of just chopping around. All the action, guys, was today. So if you held calls for this week's expiry, you got bailed out, hopefully, due to this kind of price action today from the NFP number, non-farm payroll report. But looking at it here structurally, now you have the momentum going into next week. This is a good sign. We know where our targets are, and we're going to continue to do that moving forward. We also hit futures on gold futures. We got that green. Dollar yen, we kind of got, we closed it for a minimal gain. So again, great action, obviously, on an individual names more than the indexes themselves. But again, a short week. This is the same thing that happens during Thanksgiving, Veterans Day holiday, Christmas, New Year's. Been trading so long, you get used to it. So getting this market to move here on Friday was really just a short squeeze from a good non-farm payroll report. I guess the odds for a rate hike is kind of fleeting for a 25 basis point hike in June. We won't know for 2 weeks, obviously. The good news is that we have a Fed speaker blackout period. So no Fed speakers next week leading up to the event, obviously. So kind of dodging those landmines. I think we do get the next leg higher. We'll start testing those August highs. We'll close our positions. And then we'll have Disney puts if it does fall relative to the market for the FOMC week. Maybe the Fed does pull us back. And again, if Disney doesn't work, we have calls. We can always make up for it. But for the time being, I mean, you really just have to expect August highs in the near future. Either that's next week or the week after. The question is when. And that's the $1 million question as a trader. But with that being said, guys, pretty strong week. I mean, it is undefeated, 1 for 1, and we did get a bag on it. The question really is what's next, and we want to get these trades, and we want to keep this momentum. So, starting June, 1 for 1, 100% sounds really good. It feels really good. So, if you are interested in this kind of analysis every week, every day, in the morning, throughout the day, would you like to trade with us? Join us. gar.capital is our website. We'd love to have you on board to our Discord channel. With that being said, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. We will catch you guys on Monday for the morning note. We'll keep an eye on futures. We also have an OPEC meeting tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on the energy companies moving forward. But again, no need to do any kind of technical analysis as of now until we know what happens with OPEC moving forward, at least for tomorrow. Any news, I will definitely retweet it on the Twitter page. Got a lot on my plate. Definitely options is taking all of my focus and the trading. You got to hit it when, got to strike while the iron's hot. So that's really it. We'll have the watch list on Sunday with Nick. So Discord members be on the lookout for that. And I think we have a masterclass promo. If you're interested, make sure to go to our Instagram page at Gar Capital or on our website. We'd love to have you on board. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Cheers.